So hi everybody, my name is Alan Friedman. I'm a co-founder and chairman of Osino Resources. It's fortuitous to actually have this slot because Scott, who's just presented Lumina and who will be presenting Luminex later on, I'm sandwiched in between him, and as he correctly says, this is the halftime show, but sandwiched in by two big projects. And one thing we do share is we're fortunate enough to have Ross Beatty as a shareholder. So one of our key important shareholders is Ross. So Osino Resources is a TSX Ventures listed company. It's a single asset company with a project in Namibia, which is Southwest Africa. Disclaimer. Osino is a technically de-risked company. It's in a very early but well-known emerging gold belt. There's two projects on either side of the belt. One is Otjikoto, which is a project that was originally advanced by myself and my partner, Heye, Daun, who's the CEO. Originally, we acquired that project from Vale, advanced it, and sold it around about the same stage as where we are with Osino, sold it to B2 Gold. B2 for $200 million. B2 built that mine, and today it's one of sub-Saharan Africa's best producing gold mines. It's been in production for about 8-9 years, heading towards end of life, but had an enterprise value within the B2 Gold portfolio of around about $1 billion. We made our shareholders a lot of money in that deal, and this is really a very similar project that we've been advancing since 2015. And we have a very accomplished team. As I mentioned, Heye, the CEO, and apologies that he couldn't make it. We were just together at the BMO conference in Miami, and before that at Indaba. He's very busy as we are about to embark on building what will become a $350 million gold mine in Namibia. It's a simple, low-cost, easy-to-deliver project, open pittable, and we've just completed our PFS a few months ago, and within the next couple of months we'll have our definitive feasibility, looking to, with engineering reports and funding, we'll be able to commence build probably the beginning of next year, with a first gold pour expecting end of 2025. As Scott mentioned earlier, the real opportunity here is with this project is there's not many projects that have been taken from discovery all the way through to mine build within 4 or 5 years. And this project definitely will be a mine. We're very confident in that. And really the question is whether that will be done in the hands of current management or if the project will be sold. But for now, we're looking at this company with $150 million Canadian market cap and a potential net NPV of around $500 million. Obviously, a lot of potential for value creation over the next few years. Based on the PFS, we have on the Twin Hills project, there's two projects within Osino. We have the Twin Hills project. That's a project that was discovered by our team in 2019, and we've advanced it now to a 3 million ounce resource with proven and probable reserves of 2.2 million ounces. Over and above that, we acquired a 900,000 ounce resource from B2 Gold, another project called Ondundu, which is a couple of hundred kilometers away from Twin Hills, but could be mined and material could be shipped and processed at the Twin Hills project when built. So combined 4 million ounces of resources at this point. We have very significant shareholders over and above myself and Heye and our respective families. Power One Capital owns about 10%. Ross Beatty owns about 10%. We have Resource Capital Funds, who's a very early stage shareholder. Their Opportunities Fund own 10%, and a bunch of other institutions you can see on the presentation. We also have a very significant local Namibian retail following, this being one of 2 or 3 Namibian gold projects, which has really become a well-known project in country, and we're very proud to have them as shareholders. Namibia generally is probably one of the 2 best jurisdictions in Africa. Investing in Africa is quite interesting. A lot of people lump all countries together as operating in Africa. But if anybody's had the opportunity to travel to Namibia, we actually just came back. We took a bunch of investors and brokers to our project site just a couple of weeks ago, Namibia is quite clearly a different jurisdiction to the rest of Africa. It's considered Africa light, or the Switzerland of Africa, some people call it. Really a great environment to operate in. 2 hours away from Cape Town or from Johannesburg. Our project is not more than 10-20 kilometers off of the highway, power, electrical grid, water. It really has fantastic infrastructure. You can operate there year-round. Namibia generally has been the host of many international mining companies, uranium, diamond, gold, respect for law, respect for foreign investment, and out of all the places in Africa that I've operated, definitely the best. As far as I'm concerned, only 2 million people in the whole country. It's a massive country, and not much in terms of moving communities or anything like that when it comes to advancing this project. The project is hosted in the Damara orogenic belt, structurally controlled, sediment hosted. Ultimately, this is a large tonnage project with lower grade. When we originally sold the previous project that we were involved in, Ojikoto, with around about a 1.2 gram per ton grade, we got a lot of pushback from the street that's not going to be high enough grade to mine. Ultimately, it became a very, very profitable mine, and we believe that the same will happen with Ojikoto, despite the relatively low grade. So the project consists of, the company consists of 2 major projects, which is Twin Hills in the south, and Ondundu in the north there. You can see those 2 red blocks. We control 8,000 square kilometers of land between the 2 operating gold mines. One is Ojikoto, as I mentioned, owned by B2 Gold. The other one is Navachab, which is an old Anglo project. 4 million ounces have been mined over the years. It has a very significant reserve and keeps on growing. And so there's no question that this is a gold belt with only 2 operating mines, a lot more to be found. We believe that we'll be the 3rd gold mine in this area. And of course, we have a lot more exploration upside. And in fact, have been proving through our exploration programs that over and above Twin Hills, we have extensions, we have a 13-kilometer strike, so a lot more potential exploration upside over and above the 2 million ounce reserve that we have today. Heye and I found this company around about 2015. We did some regional exploration. We made the discovery, our exploration team made the discovery in 2019, and we've been accelerating it since we made that discovery. 220,000 meters of drilling brings us to the reserve that we have today, which is going to be put into production within the next couple of years. Some results over there you'll see in the deck. I'm not going to go through it. An average grade of 1.1 grams per ton. I'll get into the pre-fees numbers shortly. Click through some of these. As I said, Heye was supposed to do the presentation. He's a mining engineer, previously worked with Anglo, built mines before. My background is law and business, so please forgive me for skipping through a lot of the technical slides. I spoke about the upside in exploration. There's a number of targets that we keep on drilling. It will ultimately be added to the resource. Again, just reiterating the exploration upside. So the pre-fees was published September last year. Very robust numbers. After-tax NPV, 500 million. IRR, 26%. $375 million to build the mine. 2.3 years payback. 2.1 million ounces of proven and probable. But as I mentioned, another 1 million ounces of resources. That excludes the Ondundu. If you add the Ondundu to the project as a resource number, you're in the range of 4 million ounces. Average annual production over 13-year life of mine, 170,000 ounces. First 5 years, selective mining, you could get up to 200,000 ounce production with cash costs of all-in cash costs around about $950 an ounce. The head grade for the first 5 years, 1.28 grams per ton, but over the life of mine, around about 1.1. Again, very economic. Went through some of those numbers, mine planning and design. Let's get through that. Some of the metrics, it just shows the really the timeline of what's expected, the discovery made in 2019. We carry a lot of the exploration done 2 years thereafter. 2022, we put out our pre-fees. The DFS is expected in the next couple of months. We're in the middle of engineering and design. We've put together we are putting together an owners team. Like a podium will be the engineering and build team, very well-known group that have built many mines in Africa. Heye, as I mentioned before, has built mines in Africa, and we conducting our business as if we're going to build it ourselves. Having said that, we are here to create value for shareholders. It was around about the same time in the phase of the project that we sold the last deal, Oryx Gold, and it's very possible that our company could attract potential acquirers over the next short while. We've had a data room for some time. There's been quite a bit of activity, quite a bit of interest. We're not so far down the road that there's anything that I can talk about, but definitely potential interest, and there's a very significant M&A arbitrage opportunity. To the extent that doesn't happen, we feel confident that we have the resources that we'll be able to build this ourselves, and we'll become a significant sub-Saharan gold Africa producer. Some of the studies that are ongoing, we're going to each one of those, but we really have spent a lot of time and attention on bringing on sort of best of breed partners in building this. You in Africa, although Namibia is a great jurisdiction, the way of mitigating risk is to bring on best of breed partners, engineering, building, resource, etc. Finally, ESG, very important to us. Operating in Africa, again, there's a great opportunity to make a very big difference to the communities. As I said, we don't have a lot of people living on the project or anything like that, but nearby communities. We've established the Twin Hills Trust to manage our corporate social program. We work with a number of NGOs, the Shack-Dwellers Federation of Namibia, the National Housing Group. So far, we've donated $2 million ourselves, and we've got a lot of our partners that have also contributed to this very worthwhile cause, and very important to us to really make an impact, and not just because you're supposed to do so from what's politically correct these days, but it's amazing to actually be in country and see what a little bit of investment is able to do for the people of the country. It's not because of us, but we had a little part to play in Otjikoto becoming the country's largest employer, employing 1,000 people. And it's quite interesting that as they sort of move towards their end of life, they have a very, very extremely skilled group of mining professionals and others that we were able to at some point work with them on as we build our mine. So our building of our mine dovetails into the sort of heading towards end of life of theirs. So we believe that for the community it would be very impactful. Generally, the board of directors, the management team, Heye and myself, we founded the company. We had previous success together in Otjikoto that we sold to Oryx, that we sold to B2 Gold. Dave Hodgson is really a senior mining vet. He was with African Barrick. He's been with Anglo, and really a doyen of industry, built many, many mines. Lazarus Ngweda is an asset manager from Investec Bank in South Africa. He's a local Namibian living in South Africa. Margot Nordi, some of you may know, very well known, and she's an amazing contribution to the team as an independent director. She's the head of the audit committee. She was the head of precious minerals asset management at TD previously. And Marvin Singer, who is a former head of securities lawyer at Norton Rose, so he keeps us all legal and doing the right things on the TSX. Executive management, we have a very sophisticated group of professionals. So a lot of them are based in Namibia, some in Cape Town, which is where our CFO and Heye, our CEO, is based, and then myself, Jeroen Conforti, and Julia, based here in Toronto. Our office is just across the road. I've spoken about Namibia, just some statistics of Namibia generally. Fraser Institute in Africa, the second on that league. And generally, if you want to go into Africa, choosing jurisdiction is very, very important, and we think we have the best one. I'm not going to go into the site layout, but in terms of infrastructure, 20 kilometers away from a power grid, really you can get onto project within a few kilometers from the major road. And I can tell you, living in Canada, going through this weather, I'd much rather be driving to site to our pit, where the pit's going to be built, as opposed to driving from downtown up 2 kilometers to where I live here in Toronto. Really an amazing place to do business, and infrastructure will only be helpful in order to make this project economic as we head towards build. We've spoken about the resource. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, one other note. The Maruru lithium project, there was indication of lithium on some of our EPLs. It's not something that we are proficient in. We were approached by an Australian group called Prospect that sold their last project for $400 million to the Chinese, a Chinese group about 2 years ago. They had a look at this, they liked it. They are basically operating it and funding it. We got a free carry, and at some point have the right to participate. And so far they're doing pretty well in it. They haven't put out the results yet, but I understand that it's going quite well. It's just a little bonus that our shareholders will get to the extent that becomes successful, but it's definitely with the right group that have got a proven track record of success on developing lithium assets in Africa. That's it.